In 2010, companies throughout the Australian oil and gas industry will be participating for the second time in Stand Together for Safety, a groundbreaking event that supports our industry's commitment to improving safety. Stand Together for Safety is a stop-work safety event held annually across the Australian oil and gas industry, contributing to improved and sustained safety performance. It provides a designated time for CEOs, executives and senior managers to talk about safety issues directly with frontline workers. The 2010 theme is Safety for Generations. Here, members of the workforce, from new starts to senior managers, talk about what safety means to them.
Awesome. I mean, there's so many plans and procedures into effect. Also, the IAF, we were just talking about the mindset. You know, we talk about this every day in our pre-job meetings and our JSAs. We always talk about this stuff. So I think their level of commitment to safety is very high.
You know, you shouldn't be having to do this. This should just be second nature. You know, this is the way you should carry out all your normal, you know, your everyday life.
You've just got to really take on that responsibility. Make sure you're educated, make sure you're trained about what type of environment you're working in.
Steve, yeah, safety is paramount for myself because I want to go home to my family at the end of the day, and for my colleagues and the people that we work with here on the plant, it's the same feeling. You know, nothing should take priority over getting home safely, all in one piece, to be with your loved ones once you finish up at the end of the day.
End of the day, the person that makes you safe at the work front is yourself, so you need to have your brain engaged, understand the activity, the hazards of that activity you're doing, and what controls you might need in place.
I don't think it's right to say that your supervisors or managers have any more responsibility for safety than you do. I think you've got to take the onus on yourself just as much. Definitely you've got the power, but you've got to realise that you are empowered as well, and you can make a difference.
The important message is that everybody is responsible for safety. The individual is responsible, and it's not about the company looking after them. It's more about the individual being aware, being accountable for their own safety, but also being accountable for their workmates' safety.
Everybody's responsible for safety, their own and everyone around them. You're working with your friends and, you know, co-workers, and so you really need to look out for each other.
We've worked the last few shutdowns, certainly the last two LNG majors, and seen an improvement in the safety side of it. I think mainly because, firstly, the standards were set right from the outset. They were reinforced throughout. There were a lot of safety personnel walking around and involved in the start-up meetings.
So if I was to ask for one thing, it would be to convert the care that I see in everybody into action, into something that's tangible. So if you see something, care enough to do something about it. If you're not sure, care enough to speak up and ask.
Above all, people are willing to walk around site. If they see something they're not happy with, they'll go and stop it. So people, almost everyone I talked to on this site is willing to, when they see something wrong, is willing to stop the job.
I believe that what is important for each and every one of us to do for safety is to always be true. If something isn't right, ask the questions, think about the what-ifs. Never assume that it'll be okay. Training the supervisors and giving them some coaching and looking after their teams, the accountability and responsibility that actually being a supervisor entailed, so that they could then pass that on to their work crews, set up the job in a more safe way, make sure that they understood the work and that all the preparation was in place prior to the team going into a situation.
The
there's so much that actually goes into the process of making sure that everyone does behave safely. Like all the JHAs and all the permit system and all the stuff we've learned, you know, just general awareness while you're walking around a plant is so important.
Being the safety manager for the project for John Holland, I've got to know a lot of the guys, and I know that they've got families, and it's part of my job is to ensure that those guys go home safely to their families at the end of each rotation.
Everyone in the company is very safety conscious. It's really drilled into you in your first few weeks with all the inductions and initial training.
My first job in health and safety, there was a poem, and I could have saved a life that day, but I chose to look the other way, and it haunts me. I can't walk past. I could not ever walk past something if it potentially could hurt someone.
Everything that may potentially ever cause a problem is managed properly, and you understand it, and everyone that's going to be exposed to it has a full idea of what the hazard is and what the control is to make sure it's, you know, going to be prevented from happening.
Quite prepared to go up to another gang and say, you know, what are you doing today, or are you sure you're doing that the right way? And then they'll have a conversation, which for us is the biggest thing.
Our supervisors are very good with the safety side of things, especially with the newer guys on the team. They always run through the permits and the JHAs that we have to go through, you know, outline all the safety steps that we have as a company before the job start and during the job as well, so they play a big role in that.
Supervisors and managers, the first thing they do is lead by example. Everything they say, all their actions, all you know, reinforce the fact that safety is primary importance.
Not everyone is comfortable speaking to someone that they maybe don't know, or it's a task that they don't know everything about, so they tend to hold back. But please just be brave, that's my advice. Dig a little, dig down and have that conversation. The more you have, the easier they get.
You'll see them walking around the site very often. So they give you a bit of confidence, and they'll stop you to ask questions on anything that doesn't seem right.
Senior management is very involved with safety on site. They're involved in audits and also inspections, pre-start meetings, toolbox talks. It's an important aspect of a management function to be highly involved with safety.
Stand Together for Safety provides an opportunity for you to share your views, to listen to others, and to get involved in safety and health discussions. This year, where will you be when the Australian oil and gas industry stands together for safety?